Now, in the wake of the massacre in Afghanistan, in which Sergeant Bales went on a shooting spree, killing Afghan civilians, women, and children, support for the war, it has plummeted. According to a new poll from the Times and CBS, only 23% of Americans think that the U.S. ought to remain involved in Afghanistan. A full 69% say we should be out of there. That number is up from 53% at the end of just last year. And, you know, we're talking about in the break. It doesn't matter your politics, it doesn't matter your party, it doesn't matter the president. They all get sucked in one way or the other. Nation building, it can be in East Asia, it could be, it doesn't matter where it is in the world. You, in fact, fought in a war that defines this idea of, as you said, mission creep. But can the president just say, enough? What's the point? We're not going to lose one more American life for this. This is nuts.
I think that should have been said several years ago. Mission creep is where you go in for a certain purpose and you end up doing something else. We went in, and I voted that we go in to get al-Qaeda out of their holes and get them on a move, because a terrorist organization is vulnerable when it's out of its safe zone, when it's on the move. We did that. But they escaped through Tora Bora, went into Pakistan, and that was the point at which we should have refocused on clandestine activities with the tribal leaders to stabilize Afghanistan, but not occupy it. The surge appeared to occupy it, and then the decision to pull out by a date certain essentially said to the Afghans, it's over. We've lost. We should get out. We should have gotten out 3 years ago.
Bottom line, Richard, Americans want that money that's spent in Afghanistan spent here in America on jobs, on infrastructure here. Now, I understand the argument of if you don't fight the war on terror there, then it'll be brought here. But Americans want pocketbook issues: jobs, food, housing,
schools,
roads. We can go on and on and on.
I think that money may actually be part of the problem. You have a lot of the military-industrial complex making a fortune off these wars, and I think there's a lot of people in a lot of positions of influence who don't want this war over.
Nobody wants to be called a wimp. When you sit in the big White House there in Washington, regardless of your politics, nobody wants to hear that you're... Thank God they got Osama bin Laden. Can you imagine if he was still out there, the kind of discussion we'd have on this right now? I think the president, if he cut bait on this thing, it won't be pretty. It'll be, ugly, and it'll be messy and all that. But I think at the end of the day, even in an election year, Dominic, I don't think he gets killed for this. In fact, I think the people say, you know what, it's not perfect, but imagine another American life lost between now and then. I mean, imagine that was your son or daughter. I mean, to me, that's the part I can't get my hands on.
Here's the secret. If we leave Afghanistan and it turns into a civil war, Americans aren't going to care. They're not. Even if it shows up on TV.
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
Who's going to notice if we're not there? Nobody.